I was looking on your Twitter, seeing what you've been up to, and Nick Rekieta, who came on our show probably years ago now, right? He was on here. Friend of Dick Masterson, the attorney. He got big years ago following the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case online as like a really big streamer. And now I think it looks, based on the thumbnail that I see on your Twitter, things aren't going good for him. What's up
he's I think he's just straight up developed a cocaine addiction. Seems to be the biggest problem. I mean, is
he thin?
He lost a lot of weight. He lost a ton of weight.
You guys are acting like cocaine's all bad.
It does help. I don't think he was ever a fat person though.
And he never will be.
Yeah. But not if he sticks to it.
It's too bad because he was I mean the real thing about him is he kind of always posits himself as like a very conservative person, not only in his like values, like openly, like, freedom of speech, anti-censorship, stuff like that, gun rights, but also in his lifestyle. Like he was like, guy from Minnesota, had a bunch of kids, normal marriage, got married pretty young, so it was kind of a
that guy. Yeah
it was kind of like he had a very
he lost too much.
He lost a lot,
way too much weight.
He had a very forward-facing conservative kind of look to him, and vibe, I guess you would say. And he would call like cucks degenerates and make fun of cucks, and that's whatever. That's all well and good. But then with time, he made a bunch of money on YouTube, and it seemed like he kind of was getting into some weird stuff. Like people started noticing little things, like he went to this anime convention and he let a bunch of girls step on him, like he was lying on the floor. People were like, "Oh, that's a little weird," but maybe it's nothing, right? His wife's there, maybe she's fine with it. It's whatever. And then they start posting in this they have this thing called Locals, is like their community for this app called Locals. And his wife is like posting lingerie, and he's posting weird pictures. One of them was his ass gripping a beer bottle. So that was one picture that was posted.
He got cheeks?
No, I would say he did not have cheeks.
Shit.
I
thought it was gonna be like what I've seen his baristas do that, and it's like you need a lot of ass to hold a beer bottle. So I was just curious he didn't insert it, did he?
It was partially inserted. I would say there was a partial insertion. It wasn't all the way in though.
So
let me ask you this:
that's kind of cheating.
Here's the telltale. Would you have drank that beverage?
No.
No, because his ass was bare. It was naked. So.
Oh, I understood that.
Oh, okay.
Right. But I think Kyle's saying if you got enough rump to hold it between the cheeks vertically, then it's still drinkable. But if you don't, and you have to insert it in, then nature's beer holder.
No, there's probably another beer in the fridge. Like,
oh, sorry.
Just Miller Lite. Last Corona.
Zach clarified in chat. That picture is actually his wife, so that's even better. Did he just send the image? Did he send?
Yeah, he did. I'm looking at it.
My goodness.
How are you on this so fast?
Don't show people that.
Don't show this.
He's updated on the lore.
Well, anyway,
I don't see it.
Regardless of it seems like you can get down.
Wait, that's not the picture. There's another picture. There's a picture with a beer bottle specifically.
Oh yeah, I kind of do want to see that one. I don't need to see these.
Sounds like they do this a lot.
I'm gonna look up Nick Rekieta beer bottle ass and see what comes up. I'm sure something really good.
I don't know. I don't like judging people's kinks, but the furry thing has always been like, it's not even that dirty. It's just like something about it not being dirty makes it just weird.
It's physically like, dirty. You're wearing a mascot costume.
If you told
all over.
If you told me that you like peeing on girls or like getting peed on by girls, I'd be like, all right, sure, get in the shower, we'll be clean right after. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But when you tell me that you've got a $1,800 wolf costume that you like to dress up in, and that you're going to need me to get one too, so that we match, and then we start having this long, in-depth conversation and start shopping for cat costumes online. It's like, man, this just seems like,
dude, you're winning me over. This sounds dope. This sounds like a real way for couples to connect.
No, it sounds awful.
To be honest, like if you do like this kind of thing with furries and like scat play, I'll take furries 10 times out of 10.
All right, you've won me over there. Okay. Okay,
you've unleashed an atomic bomb of comparison.
Okay, I was at pee and you jumped at poo.
Oh, I'd be happy to go to a German Oktoberfest and drink beer and eat tasty sausages more than I want to go to the actual shit festival in New Delhi.
A festival's a festival.
Tommy's catching strays over here.
The corn dogs here are terrible. Oh, that's not what that is.
Everything is shit. It's all shit.
Okay, so just to clarify, I do have a link. Kiwi Farms is down right now, but it is Nick gripping a bottle with his butt cheek, so I can confirm it is Nick's ass. Just to put that out there.
I mean, I would argue
You
there's
care
like,
about the facts here.
Right, we do care about the facts. We got to get it right. No
100%
misinformation.
journalists.
But so there's just little stuff like that. And it was like, oh, whatever. But the kind of contradictory thing there is he was previously calling stuff like that degenerate, and then he's kind of engaging in it, right? So it was kind of a hypocrisy. As the audience,
I'm okay with furries, but not hypocrites.
Right.
Yeah, I don't like calling anything degenerate because I feel like it comes from sort of religious morality high place that I just don't care to stand on at all. Like I feel like people should get down however they want to get down, you know?
Yeah.
Like
no, not if there's poop involved. That's gross.
So
look, I won't take part in your poopery, but if you want to, like, I'm certainly not going to create a force of poop enforcement agents that go door to door sniffing people or anything, looking for these fuckers.
It's a hilarious enforcement method.
Smells like shit in there. What's going on? We're poor. We promise.
She made Indian food. I just keep going.
The SS. It's the super smellers.
Is that human feces I smell?
You were wandering by your house.
No. My dog. It's dog feces. I know the taste of dog feces.
You are hiding a man dressed as a Saint Bernard under the floor, aren't you?
Legit. Like when I think about the kinks, to my mind, I guess the way I'm wired, I would argue that the furry costume is not any more off the deep end than the sex swing.
Whoa, that's crazy. That's
really
crazy talk.
I think it's more off the deep end. It's a fucking dog. It's a dog.
Yeah. All right, so it could be anything. You could be Mewtwo. I guarantee somebody's dressed up as Mewtwo out there taking some Charizard cock or something. It's something's weird to me that we're dressing up as these other things and that it's so in depth. Like if you just put cat ears on and a tail and like maybe some scratchy paws, by the way, you can buy that kit on Amazon, then just guessing, then I see no problem with that. But it's just that you've got this mascot costume. And to Taylor's point, I know he always brings this up. Those things get sweaty and like fuck juices. Like when I fuck in my bed, it's time to clean the sheets. Like we've made a mess. So, but I can't imagine you could dry clean one of those big things. Maybe you can.
No.
But I wouldn't think you could.
No, you're having anal sex dressed like a fucking mascot for a minor league baseball team. Get out of
risky.
Here. That's gross. You're getting poop particles and cum and liquids all in your fur, matted up.
I don't know. I pictured a different way. Like maybe it's kind of cuddly and cozy and like
Zach, bring up some furry porn.
Yeah, on the scale of like kinky stuff, furry in my mind is just like all the others.
I've never met one. I'm being a bigot about it. I'm just I'm trusting my.
I've
met some. Actually, we've talked about this. In the hangout. 100% of the furries I've met, one of one, has been a really cool guy, and I like him.
I like him
too. We who's the movie reviewer? Your movie sucks.
Oh yeah, he's all. But
I found the picture. Oh, sorry, I just found the.
No, I wanted. I'm glad you let us know. Yeah.
I'll send this in the links in the chat so you can see this. You should be able to pull this up.
Why is it downloading? Command. What command?
You should be able to just press the link.
Man, this is
You can still drink from that bottle.
I mean, it looks like if he leans back just a little, it'll pour anyway.
Oh, yeah, that thing's practically between his thighs.
Yeah, I was imagining that.
Pretty good form.
You thought I was using nature's bottle holder.
I thought that's what they call it. Nature's cup holder. Yeah, I thought, but that looks solid to be all in good fun.
Yeah, this is kind of the start of things, but it's not really. It's kind of just like whatever, right? Like he's into weird shit. Like who really cares, right? But it progressively gets worse from there. One of the big things is Nick, like I said, he had openly talked about how bad degeneracy is, and then he ended up going to this place called Hedonism. It's basically like a swingers resort, right? It's a sex resort.
I've heard of it.
And so he didn't announce he was there, but he announced he was at a resort with his wife. Autistic Spurgs online, they cross-reference photos, realize where he is. They realize that he is following on Instagram these two black bulls, you would call them, and they follow him too, who work there. So that's the thing people put together. And it came out that Nick was kind of into cuck stuff, right? And that in and of itself, once again, it's like it's kind of whatever. It's weird, but it's kind of whatever. But it was around this time people started noticing Nick is apparently exhibiting signs of an addiction. He had already drinking had always been a thing on his show, like alcohol had been a thing, as whatever. But he was visibly very drunk during some of his streams. He had his friends talking about how he was doing coke and it was a big problem. And he was like apparently justifying it to them. And it all mounted an incident where Nick Rekieta got arrested because multiple people ended up reporting him because there's something called a mandatory reporter, which basically means somebody who feels like they have an obligation to report somebody to the cops. And one of the things was his kids were, according to this person, coming to school. They were dirty. They'd been wearing the same clothes for days. They were hungry.
You don't like that.
And that was and so eventually the cops ended up going to Nick's house. And he got arrested. Right now he's being charged with I think this possession of whatever the class of substance is. And he also had firearms around the drugs, apparently, which also, can be a problem that can add to the charge. So I think he's facing at the max right now 26 years in prison for that. And it all kind of began with this, like I said, this early stuff, this just kind of hedonistic stuff, which is like whatever, right?
Yeah, sounds like he was like living life to the fullest.
Living La Vida Loca. Is what we call that.
Inside, outside.
You just living the dream,
Right. So Zach in chat said they have a legal expectation to report it to the police and call CPS, and I mean that's the cops ended up coming to their house.
Yeah,
I don't know any charged with any like endangerment stuff, or is it just drug and gun?
I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I don't think so officially yet.
Can you estimate the kid's age?
One of the youngest is 6. The youngest is 6.
Oh, fuck this guy then.
Yeah. If they were like 17 and 19 or something, I might take a different look at it.
Yeah. Zach says there are 5 charges of endangerment on him and his wife.
There you go. But to be clear, they're charges, but obviously, he hasn't had a full trial yet, so we don't know everything.
Right.
But
we do know he's a hypocrite. That much is locked in.
Yeah.
If you want,
pretty disturbing.
Seems to be if he was.
A lot of times these accusations are projection, right? Like, what are they? Accusation is admittance. I forget the term they use, but these guys who absolutely hate gay people sometimes turn out to be gay.
Yeah. They're the ones who make it like a thing. It's like you must think about this a lot, like all the time. It's like really in the forefront of your mind. Gays, always gays, penises and butts. I mean, it's hot, but God, you can't do it. He said so. He said so, and I don't do it. And they are. Why are they having all the fun that I want to have? It's like
one of the things from the
this?
One of the things from the police report was his wife asked to be given her medication when being arrested, and the cops went to get her meds. And in the medication bottle, there was stuff that was not her meds.
Idiots.
And so that was one of the things that.
So they tested what was in the bottle, and it didn't
I don't know if they tested it, but they looked inside the bottle, and there were very visually pills that were not supposed to be. Like they just weren't the medication.
Probably had a mix of pills stored in a bottle.
Usually, like if you get like antibiotics or something, like it'll be like. This is a small white pill that has a line through the middle. Like there's a little physical descriptor on there, so you can just.
It says that on the. I don't think I've read my prescription bottle very carefully.
I've never seen it.
Zach said ketamine. There you go.
And they did test
ketamine. Okay, well you can get a prescription for that. It's I don't care about any of the sex shit or the drug shit. I just don't like especially like here, like your kids are going to school dirty. Like you're a fucking scumbag. You're doing that to your kids. Like. I mean, like I remember there was 1 or 2 kids that were like that in school, and it was like, man, why is nobody loving you? Like why?
In particular, what's disturbing is like
can't be there.
This guy made like $700,000 on YouTube, like the previous year. He has enough money to like have.
Sometimes
his kids
that could be a curse. Like I've been around YouTube for a long time, and man, some of these guys that hit it big, especially if they're too young, it's like a lottery that ruins them.
Yeah. Well, it seems like when he had the opportunity and he thought he could get away with it, he ended up doing all this weird shit. I don't think he went into it thinking I'm going to neglect my children. I think because of the addiction, he ended up doing that, which doesn't make it better. But obviously, it is like drawing a through line.
Right. Like there is 1% of me that's sympathetic to the idea that he didn't want to go down this road. He did.
I mean, addiction is very powerful. It's very powerful. It rewires your brain in horrific ways. But I mean,
making your kid go to school as the stinky kid, like ruining, like literally think about like
you have
to, like I'm not,
you cannot
undercutting
overstate how like life ruining having your 7, 8, 9-year-old go to school stinky and dirty can be. Like that will set you down the path to ruin. You will be a loser for the rest of your life when you start out like that. Like it's you're creating a whole mindset within the kid and within his peer group. Like everybody's like, oh yeah, that's the other. You become that.
That's who you pick on to be pop. Like that's creating a hurdle, a series of hurdles that don't need to be jumped if you just smell reasonable. I
don't know. I mean, to me, school was often like very materialistic and very like stat and ranked based with stuff like that.
Yeah, very
like,
hierarchical.
If you didn't have enough fucking polos, then
you're gay. You're just gay.
Your family's poor.
You're lame and you're gay, and there's no coming back from that.
If you don't have Jordans, you're gay. You're not cool.
Yeah,
I mean, really, like
if Jinkos, you're gay.
Right.
I definitely know.
Apparently, his kids do not have Jinkos at all.
Damn shame.
So, Kyle, you think it was that like parental success based? Your stack ranking?
It wasn't necessarily that. It was just that like if you had poor clothes and you were dirty, like everybody noticed, and those people weren't mixing in. They weren't sitting at our table, or not even that I was at the best table or anything, but they weren't sitting at any of the good tables. They were sitting at the table with the kids with disabilities, the big fat gross kids, the greasy hair kids.
What age are we talking about?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Like fucking third grade through high school. You'd be stuck at that table. You wouldn't have a friend group. Your friends would be greasy haired, dirty people who looked funny.
Yeah. You'd be sitting at the Italian table.
You'd be sitting there with the one guy. There was one kid whose granny had accidentally spilt a whole frying pan of grease on his head when he was a kid. So like half his face was melted. He was over there. There was the other kid that only had 3 shirts. So, he couldn't even do a 1-week rotation. And be like, oh, it's WWE tonight. like he, like there was shit like that.
I remember I had a friend in like middle school who wore like plain blue, like red, like all the most plain shirts you could imagine, like no logos, no nothing on there. And someone ripped on him one day in a way that like got a bunch of laughs, where like he was like, dude, you're dressed like you're a fucking kid in one of the Spanish textbooks. Like, it was just like the most generic, like bad blue jeans, and then like just plain red shirt or plain yellow shirt, or something like that. And that stuck with me. I'm like, oh damn, there needs to be something on my shirt at all times.
Did you guys ever
have
and
Carlos's mom shop at the same spot?
Yeah.
Did you guys always have the right like school uniform? I'm not talking about actual uniform, but like the uniform that you were supposed to have. Maybe that's Levi's or Jordache or
I didn't have that.
I felt like
I dressed very like normally. Like no one ever would have seen how I dressed in middle or high school and been like, whoa, this guy's got it. It's
when
just
I was
like
10,
normal.
There was a phase where I was badly dressed and the school mocked me for it hard. And I ended up moving. Like it was rough. It was
What were you wearing? A dress?
It was
a lot of kick me signs.
It was like early springtime. So I was wearing long pants and I had outgrown them. And so they were high waters. They called them floods in my area, but high waters, you guys get it.
Yeah.
And it was pretty bad. Like it wasn't borderline. Like I could get away with it.
When you sat down, it was a show.
When I stood up, it was a show. This didn't fit proper. They were wrong. And the kids,
you had capris on.
Basically, yeah. And I had some other things that weren't my parents' fault. Like I was training my hair to go to the side. So I brushed it with my fingers like a lot. And I blinked too much, which was like I had this mild Tourette's, and people would just like pull their pants up, brush their hair with their hands, look down and blink a lot as a way of like mocking me. And
that's called doing the Woody. It becomes a dance. Everybody's doing it. It's like a Michael Jackson video in the hallway when Woody steps out. Everybody's doing the Woody.
So I talked to my mother about it like years later, and basically what it was, we were not poor. My father was professionally successful, but my parents were poor growing up. Like my mother's father died and my father's father ran away, and they didn't have like real breadwinners in the household, so they were frugal, cheap. I'm looking for frugal is a better word. So because it was springtime and I was about to switch to shorts and summer clothes. They didn't want to buy pants for me in like April when I would have been needed new pants in the fall again because you're growing all the time.
Yeah.
And I see the logic in it, but it turned out to be emotionally damaging for me.
So my mom,
that makes
My
sense.
mom
Yeah,
was-
spring for the pants. Help this
my mom
kid.
was in the school system, so she saw it. She saw like what would happen if you're wearing the wrong fucking jeans or whatever. And you know, like it was easy to be like, hey, we need to go shopping. She's like, yeah, we do. You wouldn't want to get you beat up for anything. We don't give them another reason. let's get some Tommy Hilfigers on you. So
Yeah.
Do you guys remember in like grade school how occasionally a kid would just throw up? Like,
that was awesome.
Like it would
sick.
just be like you're sitting there in second grade and like learning to read better.
I was that
and then
kid one
suddenly,
time.
like some kid just like there was no lead up, no warning. Just Sarah vomited on her desk. Sarah, go to the office.
I remember being a big,
put you
field
in some
trip
dirty
thing.
sweatpants.